Sounds good. Hello, everybody. Welcome in.
Hello.
I am Izzy, and this is The Midnight World on the Nat 30s channel. We are running Cryptoprism Company Retreat Part 2 this evening, and I'm just gonna zip through some announcements really fast. So, firstly, please be sure to enter into our monthly giveaway. Okay, we have Fire Battling who just did. Just like that, you can enter in. Our new dice are going to be popping up below, and on Sunday, we are going to draw for last month's winner. That one is closed. We have 176 entries, and I don't even know how many people who entered. Something like 50-something people who entered. It was really good. These dice are beautiful, and I have seen them and touched them, and they are right over there, and I can show you guys on stream on Sunday. Let's see. Tonight is Midnight Monday. Hashtag Midnight Monday. And our community our community cause of the evening is a call out for an unhoused is it a family or
It's there's an organizer who's trying to raise money for both clothing for warmer clothing for unhoused people in their area, as well as to keep a family in their hotel, their extended stay hotel while they're in between places.
So all bits, subs, donations, everything that we get on Midnight Mondays goes towards our community cause. We are looking to, our goal for this evening is a $25, that's our goal. That's what it would be, $25 goal. Every little bit helps. So you can donate to the PayPal me, it goes to mine, and then I give it to Gavin, and then Gavin gives it to the community cause. But any bits, subs, like I said, all of that will go towards that this evening. I think that might be it. It does not look like we are having technical difficulties this evening. So I think we will be good. But that said, when we last left our Cryptoprism individuals, co-workers, you all had been staying at a campsite for your annual company retreat. The four of you, Jordan, Bart, Sally, and Sue, got to know each other a little bit better and stayed together in a cabin, one of the cabins in your little semicircle encampment there, only to be woken up in the middle of the night by some loud noises and found that your other cabin mates, Kaylee and Liam, were no more. They were actually many pieces scattered across your room. You found some ooze that was corroding the dead body parts of your compatriots in the cabin. And thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. And you escaped from the cabin and then were attacked by some shade monsters with long arms and jagged teeth. And unfortunately, despite your best efforts and Bart's gun, which he did have, it's America. Sue fell. Sue fell after being struck down by the razor sharp arms of, what was it, hands, claws of the shadow monster. Thank you for the biddies. Hey, Lead Brush Liquor. Thank you so much.
Hey, wow, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
I think we are halfway to our goal already of $25. I think we're at 12.50, 13.50. 13, nope, 14.50. Thank you very much. We're almost there. So we actually rejoin our four professionals as Jordan, who has been almost blinded by the claws of one of these shadow monsters, and Bart have run forward in the direction of the parking lot while Sally is standing over the tore up body of Sue, I'm actually going to deafen both Bart and Sally, and then Sue and Gavin, not Jordan, and me are going to walk through what Sue sees in the darkness of her death. So give me 1 second. As I mute and deafen.
Yeah. While Izzy's doing that, I'll kind of give an explanation. In Midnight World, when you drop to 0 hit points, you are not dead. You're not re-rolling another character. You get one of 3 decisions that you get to make as to what happens to your character when they drop to 0 hit points. If you narratively feel that it's time for your character to die, you can choose to do that. Your character dies. Upon this decision, it's like a rallying cry for the rest of the people in your group, and they get, some bonuses on their neck. They get like some bonuses on certain rolls or whatever. I can't remember the exact thing because no one, to be honest, no one has ever chosen that in a game I'm in. The second one is you may choose to come back up at the end of the combat with 1 health and a wound. A wound will affect one of your primary attributes. It will reduce it. Its director defines what that is. And it reduces a attribute by 2. Basically, it blocks out the 4th and 5th rank of that attribute, and you can never go above 3 in that attribute at that point. Though it does reduce what you're currently at, so you can push it back up. So you have 3 right now. If you have a 3 in, say, toughness, or not toughness, but strength, and then this wound would actually affect your strength, then you would now have a 1 in strength. Though you can still spend your leveling up situation to add to that, it can never go above 3 at that point with that wound. There are ways to get rid of wounds. Some powers later in the game allow you to fully heal somebody out of a wound. And then there's like certain things that can happen depending on the setting. Like, for example, if I'm losing some of my coordination because I lost an eye, for example. If I lost an eye, then like maybe I get like a working replacement eye in a futuristic setting, and that could offset it. But that's again up to director discretion. And last is you can make a deal with the dread. And the deal with the dread is you have been touched by a dread being. You're one of the touched, and during death you can make a deal with a dread being. You don't necessarily know what it is, but if you do, the dread being will make you an offer. If you do this, then I will, then you pop back up with full health as if nothing had ever happened, which can be quite jarring for everybody around you, seeing as how they just got you watch you get sliced in half. That deal with the dread can oftentimes make no sense at all. Like, it might be like, steal a deck of cards from this guy, right? Like, or something that you don't necessarily understand what the reasoning for is now. Or it could be up to and including like sabotage, or find a way to expand, what's the word I'm looking for? The actual, whatever the dread being's plans are actively. It doesn't necessarily have to be the dread being that you're dealing with in the game that you're dealing with. It can be any dread being, period. And it's up to director's discretion. Now, Cheese Cat, as Subaru, gets to make a decision as to what they want to do at 0 hit points. Take it away.
Yes. So your eyes open, but all you see all around you is nothing. Just pitch black, the blackest darkness you have ever encountered. You can't even, look down to see your own hands. There's nothing there. You're just like floating in this space of void. And you hear a voice in your head. It says words, but it's more of like a feeling that you get, that it asks you what you would do to stay alive to go back? Or is this what you want for all eternity?
Well, I do have to admit, this is kind of nice. Quiet. I'm free of work and the rest of everybody. And even that facade I had to keep up of always being so tough and bro-ish just to get along. Can you tell me, would anything be gained?
So you don't know how long you sit there. It's quiet, even as you ask this question. And then your mind starts to wander. And you begin to almost like relive all of the worst and most embarrassing moments that you ever had. All of those bro things that you did. It's like they just start to circle around and around in your mind, the times that you made fun of people, the facial expressions on like people who were weaker than you, or who you perceived to be weaker than you, all of the worst decisions that you made, and you just replay it over and over, and there's silence all around, so the only thing that you can hear and see is that. And the voice asks you again, and you don't know how much time has passed at this point. Like, it feels like weeks of just sitting here reliving the look on your coworker's face as they turned around and you turned to one of your other comrades there and said something just loud enough for them to hear, and then they look back and turn away, and the voice kind of asks you again if this is what you want, because this is what it will give you. Forever. Unless you would do something for it. A simple task.
Yeah?
And it shows
What do you got on the table?
In your mind a talisman. And you can see yourself, like, first the talisman kind of fills your vision, even though you see nothing around. This talisman comes up into your vision. And you see a hand reaching out with it and then dropping. You see yourself picking it up. And then you see yourself stowing it in your pocket. And you get this feeling of all you have to do is just put it away. Don't use it. Hide it. Keep it safe. And hold on to it. Do not show your coworkers. Do not show anyone. It's yours and it's mine.
And I'm assuming it's showing me where I can find it.
It does not show you where you can find it. You just see this vision of like a hand with it in the hand, and then it drops, and then you just see yourself kind of bending down and picking it up. And when you pick it up, you can see that there is like blood stained on it, little dripping down your hand. Wet, fresh. Do you agree?
Yeah, why not? I guess I can't make up for being a douche if I can't go back.
You can never go back.
Yeah,
You can go
only
forward.
forward, right? Sometimes
right.
sideways.
These freaking flies. And you
I
hear
got
a
one of
little
those too.
like fruit flies everywhere. You feel like little fruit flies flying around you. And you hear a little chuckle in your head. And then open your eyes to see. 1 second. So you open your eyes to see Sally standing right over you, looking at you. Kind of shocked. Sally, as you look, you're kind of bent over looking at Sue, not sure how close to get, like her eyes are open.
You hear, bro, as I'm running back to your like fallen body.
And you see, Sally, you were 100% sure that Sue's eyes were, staring lifelessly up at the sky. You turn quickly to look over and see Jordan running towards you, feeling a little bit sick to your stomach. And then when you look back, Sue is blinking, looking up at the sky, and she is fine. Like a second ago, she was all cut up. There was, the blood everywhere. She does have some blood stained on her clothing, but her cheeks are full of life and color. Her eyes are blinking, looking around, and there are no wounds anywhere on her body. She's just totally fine.
Sue, are you okay? What in the hell happened? You how the fuck did you oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to curse. How uh how did you
Oh,
heal?
yeah, so like there's how there's like cryptocurrency. Um there's also like biohackers. And I had some gene splicing done once. So kind of like Wolverine from the X-Men. There are animals that rapidly regenerate, and as long as I have like I think it's a half a pint of blood, it can work. So it's
Bro,
a
That's
damn
you
good thing I wasn't
special.
cut in half.
bro, you
Because
went
that
gene
doesn't work.
splicing. You went gene splicing without me, bro.
Yeah, well, it was when I was over in doing a tour through Germany and Sweden and all of that, and you couldn't come because you had that issue with your passport.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
It was an offer I couldn't
Yeah,
like I
bro.
was a test
Yeah,
subject, so
that makes
like
sense. That makes sense, bro. I would have done the same thing.
but look, it works, so you could
It totally
totally go
worked, bro.
now.
Yeah. When we get out of here, we're going to Sweden, bro.
For sure, for sure. I still have the doctor's like info back. Well,
Uh,
back in my car.
my face is like massively like lacerated and stuff too. So I'm,
Your face is jacked, bro. We should find
bro,
you some band-aids.
bro. I need some jeans, bro. Like I don't know if band-aids are gonna cut it, but look, there's like a bunch of those things out there, bro, and like they're going up. I think towards the parking lot because there's like a car alarm going off and stuff.
Yeah, and
So
you
we
could
should.
hear the scream. You remember or recall hearing the scream that Sally, Bart, and Jordan. Sue, you didn't hear it because you were gone for like
Echoed.
weeks, but
Yeah.
the rest of you all heard that scream coming from the car park.
Yeah, bro. There's like probably somebody's probably not a survivor anymore, but there was like another person up there, bro, and then I don't know. I think we need to make it to the parking lot, though. Let's get out of here before those things come back.
Yeah, we should probably quiet
Reach,
too.
reach my hand down to do like, the super masculine wrist to wrist pickup. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
So masculine.
bro. All right. And then
bro.
and then I like pull the two of them to like, we need to jet off to the old parking lot now. So I head I start heading back over towards where
Bart.
Bart, that's right.
So
So
Bart, you've been kind of watching, keeping an eye out on both ends. Like you saw Jordan run back over to them, but then, listening out. You still can't see anything out in the woods. And it has gone quiet except for there was the one car alarm that was going off, and then as the group starts walking over to you, you can hear it kind of do that like and it gets cut off.
I'm just going to wait.
So you all
Can
come
I
together.
try?
Oh, go ahead.
Can I try using my shadow pierce ability again?
Yes, was that the one that makes you see in the dark?
Yes.
Okay. How many minutes is that? Is that 1 minute?
It's like 30 seconds, I think.
Oh, 30 seconds. Oh. So looking out from where you're at, you actually can't, all you can see is trees and woods in front of you. So you use your ability and focus, and suddenly like everything goes white, and then that does that fade out to the almost like a night vision type thing. It's very bright now that you can look out, and all you can see is trees. It's almost like that like sort of vignette, kind of black and white, kind of dark on the edges look, but you can see very brightly in front of you. There's no movement in the trees, but you also know that the parking lot is probably about a 5-minute walk in that direction.
Well, it looks so pretty okay over there, but I'm gonna tell the rest of the party members what you just told me. But we should be quiet about this, and I'm trying to use my brain on how to like survive, because Sue, I don't want you dying again. Jordan, your face is
Oh, I didn't die, dude.
pretty bad. Well, you look dead, and
I mean-
I'm gonna consider you dead until we get you to a priest.
I'm going to look very
Okay.
inquisitively at Sue, but not say anything.
Gene splicing. I know biohackers in Sweden.
Well, I don't know, but
okay.
it seems pretty darn magical to me. So
Well,
I
it's
keep
science, my dear.
skepticism. Well, yeah, I'm an
just- you know
aficionado.
what? You
bro,
know
if you
what?
took your cell phone back 100 years, like it'd be magic. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how it is. You haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it's not science. Like
And I don't understand like how to develop gluten. So baking is like magic to me.
Well, that's
So
fair. I could
there
explain
you go,
that
bro.
science to you.
I've had it explained to me a lot, and it just does not make sense when it comes to how yeast bread rises with gluten structures, because those are supposed to be tight proteins and all, but yeah, bro, no.
Well, that's just fine. I won't try to understand gene splicing at this current moment. But what we need to do is figure out how to get out of here. And if the cars are fine, we should probably go for the cars and try to get out of here as quietly as possible, because these things seem to be more attracted to noise because they all ran off over to the cars that had the alarm or something. So at least that's what I'm presuming. So we need to be quiet.
yeah, bro. I think we should be totally quiet. Let's sneak our way up there, bro.
So you're all gonna go quietly. So is there a everybody makes a stealth roll type deal?
There is no such thing as group stealth in this
Okay.
game. Like it's like technically, if you're aiding someone else in being stealthy, you can. But we're talking about us individually all moving to be stealthy. So that is, it's up to you what you want to make the roll for. Generally, it's something along the lines of either coordination or intuition, depending on the circumstance, plus like composure or reaction, wit, even vigilance, possibly, depending on what kind of uh,
Okay.
situation you feel would work.
All right, so we'll just say for now, you all head in the direction that you remember walking up the path. It was obviously much brighter when you came in the morning. So, the path is there and you can follow it, but it's obviously more ominous. As you make your way together, who's going in front?
Bro, I think your genes like will keep you alive, so you should probably head up there first, bro. I got your back though. And like I pull out my cell phone and I've got my light on, like to show the path, like kind of around Sue's shoulder, so that they don't trip and shit.
Okay. You all head towards the parking lot. And eventually you make your way to the very edge where you know that the lot is about to be. So you kind of all slowly head to just where the edge of the lot is, and you can see this gravel-filled parking lot that's bathed in moonlight. The clouds that were obscuring the moon earlier have broken. So and also now the canopy above that was all of the trees is also free. You can see that the cars are all lying silently on the rocks, absent of motion, sound, or any sign of life. You can see from your position that there are a couple of cars that have those like anti-theft devices where you can see little blinks of the lights on the dashboards or up on the top of the windshields, but there is no sound here. The crickets are gone. The cicadas still have not come back. No birds, no other insects. It's just complete, unnerving silence. By now, Sally, your vision would have faded. So on your way, it would have faded. Only lasts 30 seconds, I believe.
Sure.
So it would have faded to darkness, and you are being guided just by the light of Jordan's cell phone at this moment. So actually, Gavin, I was going to ask you this thing. Should I... No, I'm going to wait. Sorry. So what are you all doing?
I am seeing if my phone is in range of the Bluetooth connection for my Tesla. There's no way I don't drive a Tesla, bro.
Okay.
Right.
So
That's the sound investment.
Right, bro?
Is that
like,
a pun? That might be a pun. So is that a luck roll? Would you say? Or like some kind of luck?
I mean, it's sort of discretionary. Like, it's kind of up to you. It's not really, if you want to make it's not really a luck roll per se in the game. There's things like lucky, which can make you change rolls, but there's no real like is it or isn't it kind of roll. Usually it's all up to like how the director wants to take the scene.
Okay. I will say that at the moment you are not getting the signal, which is very strange to you because typically this kind of thing has a decent range. But you can't see your car. You believe that it's like behind one of your coworkers, like larger trucks, but you can't see it at the moment. And you would have to walk closer to find out.
Bro, like, can't get a signal out to my Tesla, bro. I gotta get out there and, like, does anyone else have their keys? Actually, I'm not gonna leave my Tesla behind, bro. Like, we gotta get that.
Well, I think if we can get out of here and survive, we can probably come back for the Tesla at a later time. Because otherwise, we could die trying to get your car.
I mean, we could die trying to get any car though, and I was on a 6-month waiting list for that thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a Toyota? Because those things are darn reliable. And you might as well, you could drive it through a ditch and it'd be just fine. I don't know about these Teslas.
Yeah, but like, do we really want to ruin the environment while we escape, bro? Like, you gotta care about the, global warming and stuff. Like, I don't want to just get out of here and then, flood the East Coast.
Well, I think the East Coast is already being flooded. I think it'll be just fine.
Oh,
One time's not gonna. I mean, it compounds, but I don't think that. I think that surviving is at the foremost of our worries currently. So
You begin to hear
who
a
has
clicking, that familiar
Oh, shit.
click. And it's hard to tell which direction it's coming from, but you hear like the click, 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 click sound somewhere out there.
so I'm gonna pick up like the biggest rock I can find.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look for one of those like little security cars with the blinking lights, and I'm gonna like hunk this fucking rock at the windshield to try to create a distraction
All right.
on the opposite side of where I parked.
Okay. All right. So you pick up this this rock. So would that be like an attack roll?
No, that would just be probably a coordination. It's going to be coordination plus, depending on how heavy the rock is, it could be toughness or it could be composure in this situation pretty easily. And then like it's an athletics check if I'm not making an attack. It's just like how well can I accurately throw.
I am gonna say you said sorry, coordination plus composure. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I would say composure because you're like all bloodied up in your face and shit. I don't remember what your thingy was. Hold on, I have them written down. It's right here. Oh no, you're fine.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. So, you all see this like hand-sized rock, manly hand-sized rock, go flying across the the parking lot, smash into one of the cars, and immediately you hear the like exactly. That's better than I could have ever done it. Kind of like my crows. So you then the clicking stops, and you see one of those familiar creatures comes jetting out from your right side and just full on attacking that car. It just like comes over and starts smashing it. You can hear the glass breaking, and you feel like you might have a couple of seconds before it gets to whatever is making the alarm go off and on the inside, any of the electronics.
I whisper, follow me. And I'm going to sneak around the opposite side of the cars from where this thing is running towards.
Okay.
Until I get to mine.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow up behind Jordan.
I'm
Okay.
gonna also follow.
All right. So that let's
The whole
see.
time I'm like waiting for my Bluetooth to connect. Like I've got it like with the light and then on the thing. I'm waiting for it to like, as soon as it does, I'm hitting the ignition.
Okay.
It runs quiet.
So there's a tense few seconds as you get closer to where you are 100% sure that your car is there, but you cannot see it from behind that that big truck. I don't know like car words, so it's a big truck that's there and it's blocking your
It's a
car.
big old gas guzzling dually.
There you go. And this truck's got wheels and some doors.
They're big.
They're big, it's huge.
Big
So
wheels.
then as you come around the back of the backside of the truck with the flap, you you see your beautiful, beautiful Tesla, which is a beautiful car of some kind. I don't fucking know cars. And describe your beautiful car.
I mean, it's a
All
Tesla.
right.
So basically, it is pretension on wheels.
Yeah,
There you
What
go.
it is. It is the most pretentious possible purchase that you could.
What color
have.
is it?
It's absolutely
Yellow.
red.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it is a red Tesla. Like, I need
So
people
it
to
got
look at
the
me and see that I'm
black
driving
and
a
red
Tesla.
wheels.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you know,
I've actually seen those. They're pretty sweet looking.
I wouldn't know if I've ever seen them. I literally know nothing about cars. So you come around, there's a car there that's a Tesla and it's red, and you know it's yours. And you get very close before the Bluetooth connects. Like something's not right here, but you're not really worried about it in the moment, except like maybe there's an expensive part that needs to be fixed now. That kind of goes through your head. But as you do, pressing the button, I mean, would you even hear this car start? I have no idea.
No.
Is this a silently
no, you
starting
really.
car?
I mean, the electric vehicles have so little like, yeah. If you've ever heard a Prius turn on, it will sound the same as that, while a Prius is just idling, which is no noise at all.
Okay.
Um,
So all you can hear is the smashing of the other car on the other side of the lot as your car turns on, ? And the little like click of the locks unlocking on all four doors. Two doors?
No, it's definitely a two-door vehicle. So
Two
two people are
doors.
going to have to be scrunched in the back.
Not it. We
I'll also
carpooled
get it
up
back.
here.
God, I need, and I look at
Bart.
no, well,
Sally?
Sally and Bart, and I say, "Oh, get in the back, guys! Like, Sue's got like, permanent shotgun. Like, you understand?"
I get it. I'm small. I'm gonna crawl on in the back. So, let's go. Come on.
Pick me up at the entrance. I'm gonna melt back away from the car and into the shadows.
Oh. Is that like a stealth check? I don't know which thing would it be. I know there's no stealth, but is there?
I mean, there is a stealth check. I mean, the stealth check would be your attribute plus skill, and if he had larceny, then that's a stealth attribute. So like he would get D8s on the roll. Otherwise, it's just D6s.
Okay. So coordination plus
Vigilance?
vigilance?
Yeah, vigilance is a situation where you're trying to stay out of sight specifically, or trying to, make sure people don't see you do something. Reaction would be if you're trying to like be stealthy out of like oh shit, and then composure would be like, all right, this thing's like right here. I need to stay as still and quiet as fucking possible, without it noticing me.
Okay. So we'll go with coordination plus vigilance for you to kind of slink back into the shadows there, just as the horn, the like cat, if you would please, the horn.
That would be 2.
And it starts to fade and then it just dies as we'll say you are closing the doors to your Tesla.
Okay. And as soon as the doors are closed and everybody's in, I'm like gunning it. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
All right, the wheels on your very expensive car turn like wheels do, and they kick up gravel from the ground. It's like, and it's flying out from the back as you jet, confused because Bart has disappeared into the woods, and you
Not gone that
see
far.
you see Bart, you see as the one that the shade monster that was up against that other car just darts immediately after the Tesla, after it has kicked up all that gravel. Really the loudest part about it getting away here. And then another shade comes from almost directly in front of you, but maybe like 20 feet ahead, and then also starts going after the car as you guys drive full speed. What are you doing?
Which one of the two is on the that I would assume was on the same bearing or angle from my vision of Jordan's death?
You actually, neither one of them.
Okay.
You didn't have a vision of Jordan's death. You had a vision of Janet's death.
No, he saw Jordan die
one
too.
of yours as well.
Oh, that's right. Was it? I didn't think it was the shades.
Through
that
he didn't get to see. He just saw something as you were trying to start a car, actually with a key. You got smashed like through the windshield. So something tells you that something changed in the vision that you saw that obviously caused no key to be required.
Or it's a different car years from now.
Oh yeah, could be.
I mean,
Multiverse.
Well, I mean, like, he just saw me get into a car and turn the key and then get smashed. So, like, for all he knows, that's 35 years from now. Or three and a half hours from now. We don't really know. Which this instance is not it.
Right, and what buildings and things are in my vicinity?
So you, the only things that are in your vicinity is if you were to go back to the campsite, but there are cars all around actually. So, and actually I was thinking of doing some kind of like, almost like a luck roll to see if your keys would be on you. Is that a thing I could do? Yeah.
I'm in my boxer shorts.
Oh, geez, you're still naked? Third time in a row?
Yeah, Bart's in his underwear with a gun. Like, that's Bart's.
Okay.
All I took from the cabin was my boxer shorts and my gun.
All right. Well, never mind then, keys. You would have known if your keys were on you.
When Jordan mentioned, "Are your keys were on you?" I didn't get around to just going looking down at my boxers.
So there are cars in the vicinity. Two of them, you believe, are probably smashed up. You could see a truck right next to you. The chances of there being keys in them are like pretty low because you guys all did park at this campsite and most likely everybody probably brought their keys. Some people took a shuttle. So you can see the car is zipping off. There is no the only option that you would have, it would really be, you could try to search the cars, or you could head back to the campsite. And
speaking of the huts and the campsite, when we killed the two shadow creatures, did they leave any residue behind?
The only thing that you saw was like a black sludge that started to emit this like really horrible odor and then like seep into the ground.
Okay, I'm going to head back to the campsite then, where we killed one of them.
Okay. So you head back to the campsite the same way that you just came from. Are you going stealthily or are you going quickly?
Stealthily. I'm going to maintain mine.
Okay. So pretty easy to do because you are in your boxers with nothing else. And which direction are you going into from there? Like you kind of break out from the trees.
I'm specifically heading back to one of the places where we killed one of the shadow creatures.
Okay. So heading back up to that semicircle, like right in the center is the management
Yep.
the management house there, cabin. over a couple of cabins. That's where you killed the 2 shadows. 3 shadows, actually. There were 3 of them.
Mhm.
And
I'm gonna find.
go
I'm
ahead.
going to find one of these little pools of residue and
Okay.
bend down and touch one of them and ask myself the question: when did this creature enter our world?
Let me just read about the shades. Question: do the shades turn
Yeah,
into the
let me.
ooze?
No, the shades are gone once that they dissipate when they die.
Oh,
There is
okay.
no body for you to actually engage with. Once they go away, they melt away into nothingness.
Okay. I'm going to go find one of the bodies, or well, some of the body parts of our friends from the hut.
Okay. So you go, the only ones that you know about for sure are in the old cabin that you were in.
Yep.
But you also know that the ooze was in there. So you can go
That's
look
right.
in another one if you want. Or you can go back to that one.
I'm going to go find a body part and again touch it and ask you the question: when did the creature that killed this person enter our world?
Okay.
You cannot ask a question about something outside of the thing you're touching. So you
Okay.
can't like jump it. It's got to be about the thing that you're touching.
Sure.
They, so if you do that, if you touched an actual shade and did that, you would get an answer.
Okay.
There is the ooze on that you could try. You might get.
You could absolutely touch the ooze and do it.
Yeah. All right. Try that on the use. When did this entity enter our world?
Okay. So you head into the cabin that you were first in. The ooze is like, it was just quivering, but as you walked up onto that front porch and then headed in, it starts heading in your direction. It's not very fast from what I recall, but it moves up, and as you touch it and ask your question, it does immediately start to sizzle and burn your hand.
That's okay.
And you
Obviously, I use my non-gun hand.
What is the damage for this?
It takes the way just touching it. He takes 1 level of corrosion.
Okay.
And then he takes a damage every round until he makes an action to clean himself off of the corrosion. So, and then the action to do that is. I actually think I forgot to put it on there. I'm sorry. The action for that is.
Just corrosion. You just wash it off.
It's either intuition or coordination plus probably composure is going to be it, or reaction to get it like off of your hand. For each success, you remove a level of corrosion. But every time this thing hits you, you gain another level of corrosion. At the start of your turn, you take a damage equal to the number of corrosion points you have.
Okay. So I guess
it works the same as the being on fire
okay.
status. Yeah.
So it should be fairly quick for you to reach down, touch it, ask your question. So Lore Master.
These entities, the blood specifically, came into being upon the death of who they were in. This ooze is their blood. When it became a servitor, as they're called, was upon the moment of death. These things the blood started to eat away at it. It was like whatever, like the cells and things in the blood itself. You basically would like recognize that they were hungry. It started to just eat everything. So these seem to be an actual like these seem to be they're a consequence of being killed by a shade, pretty much.
Okay.
So sorry, go ahead.
So effectively, I get to see the metabolism, the infection or whatever it is coming from the shade and into the body, and the formation of the ooze.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I now have an understanding of how they come into being. Cool.
Though at this point he should be in initiative with that thing because he just touched it. So.
Oh, okay.
Because it's as soon as that it triggers a combat. if you go
Oh,
up and
okay.
or engage with it. It's so while we're on our long drive, and I'm in the car, what? Where did Bart go? What the hell is wrong with that guy? He's only gun. He has our only gun. You know what? We're firing him when we get back. I don't care what Janet. Janet's dead. I'm firing Bart as soon as we get back.
If we get
Yeah.
back.
Hey, I won't have any of that negative talk right now, especially not in not when we're on our way out of this place.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
yeah. We can make it. We can make it.
See, we're in a car. We're moving. You're
So
safe.
Yeah.
Sally, as you look back in the back window of the Tesla, the beautiful expensive car with the wheels, you can see the kind of outline of the shade following you, the monsters. Just as you're spitting out, and you know that it took you at least 15 minutes to get to the campsite from the road when you were driving kind of like a nice, leisurely pace down to where you needed to be. So you probably have maybe half that, if that. It's a windy road, so you can't go, 60 miles an hour or anything like that. But you can see them almost running sort of like dogs, like on their, hands and their weird legs, and they're just coming after you, but starting to like hang back as you continue to go.
Okay.
Well, I think those things are still following us. They seem to be slowing down just a little bit, but just keep going, Jordan.
So I grabbed my phone and I hit what's the douchey? Oh, I know. I hit iTunes. That's the douchiest possible music thing I could have. So I hit iTunes and I blast my phone and as loud as I can, disconnecting it from Bluetooth and shit as I'm driving. And I throw it out the side window, blasting Hoobastank at the loudest possible decibel it can, so
Okay.
that it lands and they'll go after that with hopefully.
Okay. So you just keep.
You have
Okay.
a spare fob in here, right?
It's in my pocket, bro.
Oh, okay. Are you
And,
sure?
well, it doesn't really matter, bro. I got a fingerprint starter in this thing. This thing has all the bells and
That's
whistles.
true. I forgot about the fingerprint. Just yeah, no. Did you see that video of the dude that had to completely defrost his Tesla just to get the fingerprint to acknowledge because the layer of frost was so thick?
Oh my gosh.
That's why would you park your Tesla outside in the cold?
Yeah, bro. They should
If
really.
you can't afford a garage, you can't afford a Tesla.
Bro, it makes me so
Why?
mad to know that the people before me on that wait list didn't even have garages.
They can't even properly care for it. It's like adopting an animal and not even having all the stuff you need to care for it. You're a kid.
See, this is why you're my bro. You get me. You understand. You
I
understand the
do.
struggle. God.
Bart, so what did you get for your initiative roll?
I got 2.
2. You go first. So, this ooze is coming at you. It has burned your hand once already, as you took a moment to ask your question.
Seeing its, shall we say, monumental movement rate, I'm just going to walk away, grab grab a water bottle on the way out, and wash my hand off.
Okay.
Tucking my gun away.
Yeah, that still requires a roll to wash it off.
Yep.
Which
is
it's up to Izzy. But,
was it intuition, coordination, and reaction?
in this situation, with him actively doing it, I would say it's probably intuition or maybe even acumen, because it's it's like an actual active attempt to flush the skin thing. And then your it'd be composure, wit, or I'd say wit, or actually I'd say probably more wit in this one. because you're actively trying to do like almost like a medical thing here.
Okay, we'll go with acumen and wit roll as you just turn away in your boxers and walk back out into the darkness of the campsite
That'd be 2.
and wash it off with no problem.
Oops, sorry, I got the wrong line.
Oh, and you're
You got a lot of stress dice at this point.
No, I've only got 2.
Okay.
So that's still 2. I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Yeah. You would remove, in this case, 2 levels of corrosion.
There you go. So I think you're good.
Yep.
I am.
You're good.
Um,
Your hands a little raw, but
yeah, but it's not your shooting hand, so you're good.
Mhm.
At this time, the car is still winding its way through. You probably have like 5 minutes of driving, you believe. In the 5 minutes, what would you do, Bart? You've got, well, you don't know how much time they have, but in that 5 minutes.
I'm gonna start making my way through the campsite, trying to ascertain if there is any path of destruction, so to speak, or have all the huts been hit spontaneously, randomly, and try and ascertain, see if there is any tactical or strategic element to the attack, and see if they were heading in any specific direction or.
Yeah, you can see as you go through the campsite, it just seems like it almost looks like a wild animal attack. There's no real coordination from what you can find. Some of the cabins are completely empty. Others have some of your coworkers or remnants of them in them. There are also like bodies, or pieces of bodies strewn around the campsite as you go out and behind some of the cabins. And then there is the management cabin that looks relatively untouched for the most part. It is, the door is actually open, and you can see like a trail of blood that was heading back around the side of the management cabin, but you don't see who it came from.
Okay, I will follow the trail of blood.
It kind of into the cabin or out around?
Out the cabin, because I'm assuming whoever. Well, obviously, I'll look inside to see if there is anyone in the cabin. If not, then I will follow the trail of blood out of the cabin.
Okay. You don't see anyone inside of the cabin. It's the largest of the cabins that are in the area. It's got like most of the amenities that you all didn't really get in your cabins there. There's like a common area in there. There's 2 bedrooms. There's an office. You can see that there are like legit beds in there that are better than the ones that you all had in your small cabin. And a desk. There's a storage locker as you like poke your head in and take a scan around, and a chair as well. Do you go in, or are you still following the blood?
Okay, how much blood is on the floor, and is there any ooze on the floor?
There's no ooze on the floor. It just looks like there's a trail of blood that as you look, it kind of disappears.
I will say, if this blood was caused by someone that died from the shade, it is ooze. All of the blood, like in every cabin, that was caused by a shade death, just in case that was what happened here, is oozed out. Like that's if in fact had Sue died in that situation, the ooze would have happened to Sue.
Okay.
I would
even if
oosified.
Even if the blood is like far, far away.
I mean, it's ooze. Whether or not he triggers the ooze is different, but it would be like as long as the blood is still there and the whole situation here is active, it would be.
Okay. So it is ooze. It's only a little bit of ooze, though. There's not a lot. Like little, like.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to follow the trail of blood, but if there's nobody in there. Although I will quickly stop to see if there are any laptops or digital devices.
No, you don't see, well, you do see one laptop, but it is not, there is no power here. so you don't see, like, it's there, but when you turn it on, like flip it up and open, you can see that there's no like Wi-Fi, there's no way to connect it anywhere. So it's a laptop that's viable, but what you
Would
do notice, sorry,
as the company's chief information security officer, would I recognise whose laptop it is?
it was Janet's.
Okay. I'm going to boot it up
Okay.
and have a look, see what information Janet has on here, and has any good chief information security officer is. I'd know her password.
Yeah, going through it, I mean, all you have, there's like a lot of pictures of like animals, like her cat and dog and stuff, and then some like random marketing, like a new slogan that they were thinking of doing, like making better things even better than they are. And what you do notice in this room is a locker that is that has the padlock. So there is a locker in this room. Off to the side.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to make any noise with that, so I'll just follow the trail of blood, leave the laptop behind.
Okay. So as this is occurring, you guys driving through, you finally make your way after several minutes.
Did my distraction affect the shades behind us, by the way?
From looking back, as Sally's looking back there, you don't see them anymore. At all.
I look over at Sue and I just like tap my head. Yeah, bro.
ABT. ABT.
VP of good ideas, bro.
That's right.
So you kind of make this sharp turn around one corner, and as you come up to where you're like, we're right there, the road is like right there, but then as you come around the bend, you remember that there is a main gate to 6th Ridge. You can see this large administration building that is actually standing fully lit and completely like still and quiet on the small hill just inside the main gates. The steel barrier arm, as you're zipping up to the front, you guys are looking at each other like, yeah, bro, like pound it. And then you look and see that the steel barrier arm is down. You don't actually remember it being there, but it wasn't something that you really paid attention to. Like, you don't remember this at all, but it is down, and you can see that as you like come to a slow stop in front of it, that you cannot drive through it with your Tesla. Obviously you wouldn't anyway.
Yeah,
Scratch
okay.
up the
So right, I'm like done. I waited 6 months and plowing into a barricade. That's ridiculous. All right, yeah. So I slowed it down. I get to the barricade arm, and I say, "Shit, we gotta raise this thing, bro." And I kind of like I leave the car on, but I hop out. Like I toss my fob in the center console, so that it stays there, and then I run over to the like little guardhouse arm gate thing to see if I can like get it to activate or raise.
Okay.
Can Sally get in the front seat of the car?
I don't know, Jordan. Can Sally get in the front seat of your car?
I'll be right back, bro. Like, Sue's in the front seat. Like, calm down. You sit on Sue's lap, but Sue, you're into that, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, I just want to make sure that we can get out if possible. If you were to get attacked, Jordan, and as long as the mission is achieved, I want to survive.
Oh, I left my seat like forward so you could hop out if you needed to. But I'm trying to figure out if I can get this gate open right now.
Okay, well, go do it quick.
So you hopping out of the car, you can actually, everybody, because the Tesla is so quiet, you can hear that there does appear to be more signs of life out here. You start to hear the crickets and the cicadas again. Not as loud as it was, like as you were trying to fall asleep, but
that's a cicada. Scree! Scree!
You see, hear humans out in the woods making animal noises, and you're like, okay, I think maybe we're okay. Um,
Oh, bro,
So-
I never thought it'd be like missing the sound of bugs, bro. But like, see, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna be good.
All good.
So looking at the steel barrier arm, you go over and just kind of looking at everything. There is power in this area. The lights are on in the admin building, but there is a hydraulic lock holding the steel barrier arm down. And as you look, you can see like a keypad, and there seems to be like a place where you can insert a card or something along those lines, but there is as far as you can tell, no obvious way to get the barrier open unless you've had a passcode or an override key.
So I look up at the because you said there was a building out here too, right?
Yep, the administration building.
So I look up at the admin building, like maybe someone in there's got the key, bro. As you
Yeah,
said,
bro.
yeah, and I'm like, let's go in and figure this out, bro. I don't
Sounds
think we should.
good.
I don't think we should split up. I think that I don't know. I think the Bart thing was dumb.
I hope
Yeah.
he gets out here. Okay. Question: Can I
15 minutes.
investigate the hydraulic lock to see if it's able to be disabled from outside?
So that would that be like intuition plus wit?
In order, this is going to be intuition plus wit. Actually, sounds pretty good, and it would be a mechanics aptitude.
Do you have, Sally? Mechanics?
I have aptitude in biomedical and traps.
So you can make a roll, intuition plus wit.
Is that 2d8?
That's all.
or-
It would be for each point in this, since you don't have the aptitude. So like you get d6s. So you count up the total between the two, and you get that many d6s.
Okay.
And then
That's
roll that.
intuition and wit.
Yeah. So whatever your intuition is plus whatever your wit is.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I don't have enough dice.
Oh, and real quick, we hit the 100% mark on the Monday cause.
Hooray! Thank you. I'm
So,
going to
thank you,
try to
everybody.
do this differently, where we actually give a goal. I realize people like goals. So
Yeah.
thank you for helping us reach the goal.
Yes.
And
by all means, try to get us to 200%.
yeah, hey,
Hey.
another $25 would be wonderful. Thank you so much for
You know
everybody's
what?
contributions.
I'll put it out there. If we hit 150, I'll sing a song. Let's see if you guys like my singing. Maybe
right.
we can get a little.
I'm going to use the rest of my bits right
Revision.
now. Let's see here.
We get $37.50 more than $35.50. Then we will get a bonus. Sally, what did you get?
Yeah.
Don't be
I got-
stingy when you hear this voice. All right.
5s, a 6, a 4, and a 3. And I think I have the D4, right?
You add, however many distress die you have, you need to roll those d4 and you got a 5, 6, 4, and a 3. That's 2 successes. For every one you roll in a d4, you will subtract a success.
I rolled a 2 on the D4.
Okay. So as
good
you
to
go over, as you
How
go
many
over,
minutes are you at right now? Real quick.
sorry.
How many minutes do you have right now, Dark Phoenix? 'Cause you should have added a minute when you used your power.
Okay. I think we started at 11, so that means
You started at 1 minute, and then you've used your power at least twice, so that's 2 minutes added there. So you should be at 3 from those.
yeah, I'm
And
at 3.
then, okay. Didn't you have a trauma trigger too?
I did have a trauma trigger of the
Oh, yeah.
movement of
Yep.
animal.
You're at 4.
Okay. 4.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, and this is something I forgot to mention, Izzy, like every single action that Dark Phoenix takes while predatory movement is happening, they should be rolling a metal check. So they
Okay.
technically, so every time you would roll dice for an action, you have to make a metal check. A failed metal check means more minutes. So you're at 4 minutes right now, meaning you have 2 distress dice. Roll one more d4.
That's a 3.
You're good to go. 2
Oh, there you go.
successes.
2 successes. So as you go and look at it, you start punching in numbers and everything, and you successfully are able to realize that you are going to need an override code, or like the actual code as you're like beep beep. No, yeah, this is definitely, yeah, you're definitely gonna need to know more about this product in order to fix it.
Are there any lines that could be cut on the barricade outside that would disable it and make it to where it could be manual?
There might be. You would probably need, like, looking at the box and everything, you would likely need to have some kind of toolbox or something with screwdrivers and whatnot to get into the actual, the actual box that would then go through to the arm.
I mean, your 2 successes basically tells you that you're not capable right now of doing anything to it.
Okay.
So you all kind of looking over as you're done inspecting, you look at each other, kind of shake your head, and then you look over to this administration building. It looks eerily calm. It actually looks like very secure and safe. There's no evidence of any like outward signs of intrusion. There's no signs of conflict. It's well lit, it's intact, no broken windows. So yeah, it looks like probably the safest bet that you have at this moment.
Yeah. Let's get in there and see if we can call for help.
Yeah, I don't like being exposed out here, bro, and it's gonna be at least half an hour unless, Bart finds some keys before he's up here. So I don't want to sit in the car and wait, and I don't want to sit out here and wait, and I definitely don't want to walk on the highway. So yeah.
So you can see that the front entrance to the admin building is just kind of there. Doesn't appear. As you head up to the front and push on the door, it just opens, and you can just walk in.
Yeah. So that's totally what we're doing, walking in.
All right. Bart, you are kind of walking through, and what you are able to discern from this as you come around, everywhere where there is blood, you can see the little ooze. Like as you're walking close, you see it quiver and starts coming towards you. You do see like bodies that are on the side of buildings and whatnot, like your coworkers, typically covered in this ooze, and like the smell and like the sizzling of bodies being corroded by whatever acidic something is there. But you also, like, looking around, it's quiet again in this area. You kind of get the impression here that really, like, if you wanted to get out and wanted to get to a car, somebody's got to have keys on them.
Okay. In relation to the ooze, does it appear to be, even though it's going particularly slowly, is it just moving from one fleshy substance to the other, or is there any little pools of ooze moseying their own tiny little way off in any random a specific direction?
So what you notice as you're doing your investigation around is that the little pockets of ooze and little blood puddles, they are kind of still and just kind of lightly quivering with almost like a slight vibration until you get close enough that it then, begins to move in your direction. But once you get far enough away, it just kind of, again, stops where it is and, vibrates.
So they're triggered by proximity of living flesh? Or
Yes.
just flesh. Okay, fair. I'm aware that there is other administrative buildings in the area, so
Yes.
I will start making my way quietly towards them.
Okay. Are you heading up the road in the direction that they went in their car?
No, I will go for the woods.
For the woods?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I am gonna have you make a navigation plus intuition roll.
Not navigation. It's intuition plus. It'd be intuition plus wit, but navigation would be the aptitude.
There we go.
Navigation or I believe nature would work here. Survival, I think, is also one still. That would also work.
I'll spend a few seconds. Still only in 4 minutes. So that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, and my 2d4. 2 and a 4. 3.
Right. Okay. So you make your way into the woods and you start heading off. It's dark. You have your phone, but as you're going through, all of the areas that you're walking through start to, look the same. Let's see. You don't.
As far as navigation is concerned, what's the topography like? Are we above the administrative buildings? Because if they're lit, they would be easy to see.
No, you're probably a 15-minute. You're a 15-minute slow drive from the entrance to where you guys came in. So probably like 5 minutes, but you're not above. You're like almost level with it. So there's just trees all around you. So you just kind of continue walking through the woods. You're not really sure which direction to go, other than like heading in the direction of where the parking lot is, but not directly towards it. After a few minutes, you actually find yourself exiting, and the parking lot is right there.
Okay. Well, I'll follow the road off the side of it.
Okay. So you begin to head up the road. I will have you do a. What would be considered a perception check? Intuition and.
Yeah, it's intuition. Sorry, intuition plus. Usually it's wit, but it can also be composure depending on the situation. And intuition, vigilance, not wit. Intuition plus vigilance normally, though occasionally composure can be the stand-in depending on the situation. But in this, it'd probably be intuition, vigilance.
Okay, I'll have you do an intuition plus vigilance. As you head.
Sorry. 2. 2 and 3. 2.
All right. So as you're heading up the road there, you walking at a fairly decent pace, you begin to hear that clicking ahead of you.
I'm not walking at a fairly decent pace. I'm aware that these things are attracted by sound, so I'll go as slowly as necessary to be as quiet as possible.
Okay. So as you get close enough to hear them, like the clicking, you can tell that, like, if you're following the road, it goes around a bend, and there's going to be more. You can hear the clicking from directly ahead of you, but this goes around a bend. So you feel like they're probably either in the woods in between where you need to go, or they're up ahead on the road.
Okay. I will circumvent that area, but keeping my eye on them.
Okay. And so that is a coordination plus vigilance. Be stealthy.
I would say in this case, probably vigilance is a good call.
Okay. Coordination plus vigilance as you're walking through. And you can hear the
One.
click, 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 click.
2.
And listening, you can
2.
tell that there's more than one.
2.
And theirs is going to be a intuition plus vigilance. But listen.
It's not a countered roll in this
Oh,
situation.
okay.
Unless they had a beat on him in the first place.
Yeah.
If they heard him in the first place, then no, it's not. It's
Okay.
just you succeed at the stealth roll.
All right, awesome. So you are able to like duck down low, and then sticking to the side of the road, you can see them. You're going very, very slowly, and you see the two shades as you turn the corner, and they are clicking around. You see a smashed phone on the ground in the middle of the road. Super expensive phone, like probably one of the like what would it be? Samsung olds.
No,
No,
that's
no,
an
I have-
unreleased
No,
iPhone.
I have
Oh,
an absolute like whatever the newest iPhone is. I wait in line for those.
No,
Like-
it was a pre-release. We went to South Korea.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
It's not even available in America yet.
So you know, like as you come around, and they're like almost communicating with one another very strangely. That like you look and you're like, oh man, that's Jordan's phone. But you don't see any blood around, so you just kind of like shift
Okay.
slowly as you're going.
Now, I'll keep an eye on them and study their behavioral habits.
Okay.
So they're obviously communicative, independent thinking. But fair enough. I'm just
They
building.
seem to be like sort of communicating, almost like a very basic.
It's more instinctual. These are servitors. Servitors don't have any conscious like planning ability. They're just
Right.
they do a mindless task.
Mhm. Then they begin to head back in the direction of the camp. Just going through the trees, like they don't even care. They make, whatever noise they care to make. As you continue heading towards the administrative building where you know it is. After a certain amount of time of not hearing anything, and you begin to hear the chirping and the insects again, you feel confident that you could probably move more quickly.
No, I'll stick to my slowest pace.
In the meantime,
Safe.
as Jordan, Sally, and Sue head back you open up the door. The interior of the administration building, which was very quiet and serene on the outside, tells a far different story than the exterior. So you open this door, and the moment you do, you can see that there is blood everywhere. There's signs of an immense struggle, and easily a dozen bodies as you head in. The walls are lined with bullet holes, furniture is broken and battered. Viscera and gore is strewn about haphazardly, with some of the bodies that appear to have been partially consumed. One thing that you notice is as you're going through, you're just kind of like covering your noses from like the weird smell in the building. You can see that they're wearing military grade assault gear. And as you're looking through, you can see that most of it has been way too destroyed. You wouldn't even be able to get half of it off of the bodies themselves, as much of the bodies that remain. As you all struggle to like keep yourselves from puking up, you are startled by the sound of a weak cough coming from behind the administration desk.
I go over and check it out.
I
So
signal for everybody to be quiet with my finger.
So Sue, you head over and slowly like peek up
I
over
go over and
the
lock the door while Sue's doing this. I'm like, Doop, nope, we're not letting anything else in here.
Idea.
peek over the desk, and you can see a man who is lying like slumped up against the wall just on the other side of the desk. And as your head peeks over, the eyes like dart straight to you, and you make eye contact. And you see him hold up his hand as if offering something. And then the eyes just kind of like roll in the back of the head and the hand drops.
Yeah, I'm gonna like go over next to him. No longer just peeking at him.
Okay. You head around the desk and you can see, interestingly, like it catches you off guard, but is very confusing. But you see this this individual is wearing armor. And all around, as you then look, you could see that it appears to be made out of like the types of material that you would expect from modern body armor, but it's shaped like Roman armor here. I don't know how to say that word, so I'm not going to try.
Like the
Musculata.
Roman booby
Musculata.
armor.
There you go. Roman booby armor. You can see like several ornately carved brass discs attached to the front with leather straps. Let's see. You make an intellect and is it academics is still here or no? Intellect and intuition. No, sorry. Intuition and wit.
For what? For what?
Is acumen more smarts?
What are you trying to do? Sorry, I missed that.
To determine what the discs are.
Oh, that would be acumen.
Okay.
That because that's like a history roll basically. So you're doing acumen plus
History type.
acumen plus wit would be the roll for this, and then if you have a specialty in or an aptitude in occult, or for this one, and occult research, or those are the two I think that would work on this.
Okay.
Are we all rolling?
No, just
Sue's
Sue
the only one that
is.
sees it.
Yeah, Sue's the only one who
I
went
got
around.
one success.
Okay. So you were able to recall, and you don't really know, like when, maybe it was from like your nerdy years back when you like did a lot more reading about stuff like this, or maybe because sometimes you have done some reading on, like cool gladiator type stuff and just stuck in your mind. But you do realize that those carved brass discs that are on the front are ancient Roman symbols of rank and station. And you can see that this individual is clutching a rifle and has a spear strapped to his back.
And what was in his other hand? Or
So
was there anything?
Yeah, you reach down, being brought back to a vision that you had, and turn the hand, and in it you can see this small disc with it's made of brass, and you can see that there is an engraving of a smiling sun on it with a chain attached.
Stick it in my boob pocket. Not that I know what that's like in real life, but I've seen other women do it. That's a good place to hide stuff.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna grab his spear and hey, bros, this dude looks like he's got, I don't know if the armor's gonna fit or if it's still any good, but I found a spear and got a nice looking gun here if anyone else wants to take it. I'm gonna take the spear.
So the moment
Whoa.
you touch the spear, you as you're holding it even, you felt this sense of warmth that kind of went from your fingertips up your arms, but as you're holding it, you feel this sense of confidence and bravado and courage that comes through you. And at first you're just kind of taken aback by it, but then you start to feel really good. And
I got this, bro.
you have, what is this?
What?
The spear, is that the depressor?
Yeah, the depressor, I believe. Wait,
Okay.
let me double check. Because the
Yes,
talisman
it
has
is.
a
It
name
is.
too. Okay.
All right.
And
Got it.
whenever Sue touches the spear, a thing happens.
It does. I don't see it.
What it should say on the spear itself. What is the ability on the spear called?
Oh, bolstered. The wielder of the weapon adds 1d8 to all tests to resist dread powers.
Yes. Okay.
So you feel confident, and now you have this weapon.
Spear is, I think, a 2 damage.
Three
It's
damage. Grievous
Damage value is 3.
quality,
Okay.
armor penetrating.
Yep.
And you, I believe this individual's armor is also available for the taking. Like the only one that's intact.
Bro, you would look wicked in this. Do you see how sculpted the pecs are?
Whoa, bro! I'm taking that, bro. And then
You're
like,
only
I'm
a
actually,
half inch off of this.
yeah, I'm gonna like totally put the musculata on, and I'm gonna grab the assault rifle. That I have a 2 dice roll on.
Okay.
Gonna
This
be a
will certainly
wild
help.
time.
Right?
This is definitely going to help us.
I think the assault rifle is is automatic. Is its thing? What's its
The assault rifle says automatic. So the Kevlar musculata is defense value 2, quality imposing, and the assault carbine is damage value 3, quality automatic.
okay? Automatic as a ability. The way that works. Hold on. Get to it correctly.
That was fun.
Ranged weapons capable of cycling repeatedly with each pull of the trigger. So whenever you make an attack check with an automatic weapon, you re-roll your net hits. Any additional hits you roll are added to your damage. They're not. You don't get to continually do that. You only get to do it once. But
Okay.
a re-roll on a die outside of seconds, like something that gives it automatically, you only get to do one. It doesn't constantly explode.
Okay. And then also, Sue, as you had touched that talisman and put it in your boot, and actually as it's touching the skin of your leg, you kind of
Oh, no,
feel
boob
this.
pocket.
Oh, your boob. I thought you said boot.
Yeah, no, boob pocket.
So as it's touching your boob.
Go booby pouch.
Yeah. I'll never be able to do it without paying for it.
You feel this sense of contentment and satisfaction. So between like holding the spear and then like again it radiates from like just above your
brave and
heart,
happy.
like you feel like you have finished the most delicious and satisfying meal that you've ever had. Like you're just full and like you just feel good, like that, you know, that just content feeling. Let's see. And you can make an intuition. It's not intellect anymore, right?
No, acumen is not intellect turned into acumen.
Sorry.
So we get tired of the
I'm gonna write this
confusion
down.
between those two. Yeah.
Acumen and wit, with occult being if you have that. Or religion or research. Occult is religion.
Got one success again.
Okay.
Again,
So
just vague stuff.
you realize, and you're not quite sure how, that this talisman makes you immune to the endless hunger, which it's just like saying this in your mind, but you're not quite sure what it means. But it's a good thing, as far as you can tell. Um,
All right.
so as you are finishing up this, gathering the things and looking around the area, you hear a scream that echoes from the basement, blood curdling and terrified. There's immediately a silence that follows.
Yeah, real quick, just because I've never had anyone actually outside when this happened. That scream is calling all of the clicking shades to its location.
Okay.
So that's what would be happening. That's what would Bart would be seeing, like if he's in visional rage.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Bart, you're like coming up on the admin building when suddenly you hear, you're coming up in your boxers, you got your your gun at your side, and you can see the Tesla right there, and it is idling, empty, doors open, the two doors open, and you can see that the steel bar is blocking its way out of the camp area. You kind of like lightly jogging up to where it is, and then you hear this scream that echoes out. It is completely unnatural. It seems like it's louder than it should be from where you are, and looking over towards the admin building, you can see Jordan like back facing the doors that are like mostly kind of like the plastic bulletproof like glass type stuff. You can see his back facing the doors, and you can see
Except now I'm holding an assault rifle and wearing like really sweet ass armor.
yes. So probably only about like 20 feet away from where you're at.
Okay, so I will. Do I see anything running towards the admin building at this moment in time?
Looking around, you start to see shadows and hear things shifting, and that scream that is, it
The
just
bug
like
stop.
stops. So, and the bugs stop. The cicadas stop. The crickets have stopped chirping, and now you can hear the rustling and see that things are on their way.
Okay, then I'll move towards the admin building and try the door.
So Jordan, you turn around and you hear this like scritching or what you believe to be scritching and scratching, and you turn around and you can see Bart.
I'm trying to point the gun directly in Bart's face, right? Like, ah!
There's
Bart.
Bart like, look, man.
Open the door.
And I open the door and come in like, where in the fuck have you been, bro?
And as he opens the door, I'll put my gun and push the gun and hey, point that at me because you'll just kill
Put it. Yeah.
Jordan, you gotta be
Bro,
quiet.
you can't be sneaking up on people out there, bro.
Jordan,
Come on,
stop
man.
yelling.
Wait,
We're going to have company. I'll shut the door and lock it.
the bug stopped.
That's because the shadows are coming. I'm going to look around. Are there any other discarded weapons, utility belts, ammo pouches, grenades?
Basically, there's enough like weaponry for people to stock up at in this area. Is kind of.
I will grab a utility belt, make sure that I have enough magazines, discharge my not spent but half spent mag from my block, reload it. And one of the things that my companions see, I seem to be very comfortable with weapons.
Okay.
Is there a bow laying around?
There, I don't believe there would be a bow, but there are additional spears, not any that, unless I'm wrong here, that would have the same effect, unless they all do.
No, they don't.
There's just
like,
the
there's,
one.
Yeah, there's the one like special spear. There's also technically no reason that there wouldn't necessarily be a bow here because
Okay.
they are
It's at
weapons
the
that are
admin
used.
building, right?
They are weapons that are used within like these organizations.
Oh, okay.
But
kind of thing.
most importantly, I'm going to wander around and I'm going to find a guy with the same size boots as me.
That you,
You
don't find. Everyone is either 2 sizes larger or a size and a half smaller. It's just the damnedest fucking thing.
That's how shoes work. I will also say that like if we should. This is again something I forgot to put in, Izzy. I'm sorry.
No.
At this point, none of this blood has turned into whatever has been going on. And why?
Yeah, so you're all looking around. Well, Bart, I guess you would be the one who kind of looking around. So you find some socks and shoes. Like you gotta like put the socks on to make the shoes fit. But you know it works out. So now you have socks, shoes, and socks, boots. Sorry, and boxers on. And as you're doing that, putting that all together, you're the one who kind of notices like, okay, this blood has not turned into goop, into moving goop. But as you're doing that, you all begin to hear like the scratching and like banging against the walls, and you look out towards the window, like the bits of windows that you can see through, and you can see shades on the other opposite side of the building. I mean, on the opposite side of the windows there. Looking over, you do see the open door where the scream emanated from the basement.
We should probably see who's down there.
Are we sure we should go down there?
Well, do you want to stay here until these things break in through the glass?
But if we go down in the basement, wouldn't be getting trapped in there too? But then again, we could also like get them to where they're all like coming in through one entrance.
Well, I mean, there's so many of them out there right now that I don't think that it's gonna matter. I mean,
You hear a crack as that tempered like bulletproof glass that they have there begins to crack, and you can see the shades like trying to get in.
look, I'm
Okay,
going
let's go.
downstairs, bros. Look, that's just what's I'd like. And I run over to the door and I'm like, "Are y'all coming?"
Well, you
Chopper.
get
Yeah, Sally's gonna grab a quiver and a
Okay.
bow and a bowstring, and as many arrows as she can shove into the quiver.
Ammunition, this is for everybody who's listening. Ammunition in this game is not something you have to track. If you have a weapon, unless the director specifically says you need to find ammunition for it, you're assumed to have enough ammunition to get through the combat. So yeah.
Blessed be.
Yeah, counting arrows takes too fucking long, everybody. It's just a needless crunch.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So you begin to hear another like scratching noise coming from a side, and then another, and then another, and you can start to get the impression that there are maybe half a dozen of those shades outside.
what's the floor layout in relation to the entrance to the cellar basement?
So that's only a few feet away. It's like right behind one of the main desks that you guys are all at. So it's right there.
Okay. Taking a flashlight and pointing it down the stairwell. How wide is the stairwell?
Let's see. It is wide enough for probably two at a time to go down.
Okay.
All right. So you guys all start to head down, and the stairway descends into like a standard basement. But as you reach,
I get about halfway down, then I turn around, kneel down, and point my rifle back up the stairs.
okay. Is
Well,
anybody
the idea was
closing?
like I was gonna close that door
Oh,
and
okay.
like lock it as soon as we got like.
I will still do the same.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that, but I'm just saying, like, my goal was to make sure that once we were going down the stairs, we closed it, locked it, and was like, you know, let's still stay quiet down here if we can. So if they get in, they won't be attracted. Well, let's find out the survivor down here. There's got to be that scream had to come from somebody. Wait, you said you heard that scream? I'm looking at Bart.
No, I heard it from. I was only about 100 yards away. But
Yeah,
by the sounds of it, all those shadows heard it as well, from wherever they were.
Okay, let's go down.
It was more of a cool home.
Well, maybe this thing is like what we got to handle to get out of it. I don't know. I don't want to do this anymore.
You guys deal with whatever's down there, and I'll deal with whatever comes through that door.
Yeah, that sounds solid. After you, bro. I'm looking at Sue.
All right, bro. I got this.
So as it descends down into the standard basement and you reach the last step, you can see a large cavern that has been crudely carved into the foundation, leading to a stone-worked tunnel that looks far more ancient than Sixth Ridge. The hallway is musty and an odor of decay and rot hangs in the air. There's a distant torchlight bouncing off of the turn in the hall in the distance that gives a soft orange warm luminescence to the corridor. And as you come around the corner, you don't see anything coming after you from up top the stairs. So as you continue down, like facing away, you see this large chamber that is filled with torchlight and gore, and the stench is overwhelming, and it hits you like this wave that just comes through, nearly making you vomit where you stand. And in the center of this chamber is a giant, writhing, frothing mouth. It's as if the floor itself grew a maw, and a lashing tongue is whipping around from its center. Its circular rows of jagged teeth drip with slime. Small wisps of acrid smoke burst from any spot that it splashes. And
Dude, say it, don't spray it.
the tongue, as if sensing your arrival, begins to lash wildly in your direction. I need everybody to make a roll for initiative. There you go. That's the words.
Initiative
Damn.
That is intuition
plus vigilance.
plus vigilance.
And don't forget your distress
Don't
die.
forget the distress die.
Ooh, okay. So am I rolling for two different things here?
Oh no.
I think the mall says it doesn't. If they have
Oh,
initiatives,
gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
one of them says it doesn't actually have like an initiative per se. It just does a thing as a reaction to us.
Okay.
And the big tentacles have initiatives. Or the
My
tongue.
dice.
The tongue has an initiative. I got a 0.
My dice
Alright.
are dreaming. They're all ones for all four of them.
Oh no. All right. 3 or more?
3.
4.
Oh.
And that's ones on the D4s too.
Mine is 2.
Okay. 2. 1. Okay. What did you get? -2, Sally?
I think so.
All right. Last. And Jordan. What was your initiative? Gavin?
0.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Bart, as you were turned to face away, but not hearing anything, you turn back around and just see a nasty mouth that's like splashing acid as its like corrosive spittle is lashing out in your direction.
I will maintain my post.
So you're turning back around towards the down the
Yeah,
hallway.
I stayed halfway up the stairway. I didn't move.
Oh, okay. So you're far away from everybody. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We have Sue.
There. If the tongue is within stabbing distance of me and my new spear, I would like to stab.
All right. You kind of run up to it and make a stab attack. All right. The tongue. Yep. Okay.
Strength
Go ahead.
and toughness.
Yes. And it has the other thing. Armor penetrating.
Yeah, it means he ignores armor.
Okay,
So.
it ignores armor. This does not have armor.
The maw does, I believe. The actual mouth does, I think.
Oh, okay.
The tongue does not.
The tongue does not. You're good.
Well, I got a single success. Woohoo.
Okay. It gets a coordination plus reaction to dodge.
Sounds right.
And that hits. So that is damage 3. So 2 plus 3, 5. Let me see this tongue. Okay, got it.
I pierced it. Now we just got to get the barbell through.
So you run up and just like stab into this large tongue. You can see that this mouth, it looks like this large, grotesque, rot covered tumor in the floor, and it looks like this like long, like the mouth of a lamprey with long lashing prehensile tendril that's protruding from the center and just flopping all over. It has this slime on it, and as you jab into the tongue, you can hear a sizzle and you pull back the spear. Let's see. All right. We have next is actually the tongue. So you are right there against it. It is going to is this a separate thing, this power? This is like an action.
Which one?
Entice.
Read it to me again.
The tongue emits an alluring, sickly sweet aroma that clouds the senses of any who target with its spores. Who it targets with its spores.
Oh, that's its ability if it gets 4 or more damage on a hit. Basically,
Okay,
like the
gotcha.
spores activate and you're brought into like you want to get real close to that mouth. Man, this smells great in there. It's kind of what we're looking at. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're doing strength plus toughness for the tongue to lash out. Burn. Ew. Right. That is 3 hits on you, Sue, from this tongue as it slams against you.
A coordination plus reaction to dodge.
I got 2 successes on that.
So it's
All right.
1 plus the damage value damage.
So acid lash 3. Wounding.
So it oh, okay. Yeah. Oh wait, I definitely misread that that ability. That's not the ability. Wounding is you just took 4 damage, so you just took wounding. You now have a wound.
Okay.
Yay!
So the tongue kind of slams out against you and wraps around your arm for a second and then pulls back, and as it does, there's acid on your arm, one of your arms that is holding the spear. So a wound is, what does the wound do?
Wound, it's up to you. The wound will take 2 away from one of their abilities depending on how it hit.
Okay.
What you decide that wound does, basically.
So one of your arms is burning, has been burned severely as the acid from the tongue is seeping into your skin and cauterizing and bubbling and
Right. As an action, by the way, sorry, I was not thinking about what this one was. I was thinking of a different creature. So dread power entice, so that instead of an attack, its action would be using the dread power entice. So it would make an intimidation plus charisma test versus that actually should be manipulation, by the way, not charisma. That's my bad. And not intimidation. What the hell? Sorry. Yeah, this I forgot to like change over. That should be
Would it be
in
charisma metal?
uh no, it's intuition, not intimidation, plus manipulation. And its manipulation is not listed here correctly. The manipulation should be on here as a 3. The intuition is a 1, so it gets 4 dice. And
Okay.
then what it does basically is if you fail, it would go against everybody around us, and if we fail the contested roll, uh, we basically walk towards the maw.
Okay. All right. Next up we have you, Jordan. As you watch as Sue kind of lets out this scream as their arm is being eaten away by this acid.
Bro! And I'm gonna like basically just aim my gun at the tongue, and I'm just gonna like pull the trigger and hope that that is -2 because I'm still drunk.
Oh man, you were driving drunk too.
I was driving drunk, but it's a Tesla. They have autopilot.
Oh, okay, okay.
They literally drive themselves.
All right.
Like so I'm gonna spend some seconds here to add a. I don't know if I can add a D8 to this roll. It would matter. I'm gonna re-roll. I'm gonna spend 2 seconds to re-roll both of these dice. That's a -1. I'll spend 2 more seconds to add a D8. That's 1. That's 0, and 2 more seconds to add a D8. 0 total. So I spent 6 seconds. I'm now at 4 seconds and 2 minutes. Oof. Whoa,
So
now.
a 0 is it doesn't do anything, right?
Still,
Still
it gets
6
to make it. No, it gets to make a dodge roll. Like
Okay.
still, it has to make one. If it does 0 on the dodge roll, my net was 0. And oh, I got 1 success. I actually get to re-roll that as no, yeah, it's still 0. It's still 0 attack. So if it gets a 0, it takes the base damage of the weapon.
I got 2.
Yeah, I miss. With just
Okay.
like fucking all over the place. Whoa, bro! These things didn't have this kind of kick.
All right. Any movement, or you're staying where you're at?
I'm staying where I'm at right now.
Okay. Sally. So Sally, I also know you said you have a hard stop. Is it now or is it 11:30?
It's 11:30 and it's
Okay.
like a medium hard stop, if that
Okay.
makes sense. They know
A
that
firm,
I'm
a
doing this thing.
firm-ish stop.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the bow and aim right for the base of the mouth and the base of the tongue, and try to shoot an arrow into it.
Okay. You're shooting the mouth itself,
Mm-hmm.
not the tongue. Okay. All right. You can see this like tumorous mass with this tongue going just like that all around.
Okay, and that I have aptitude in archery for marksmanship.
Awesome.
Is that what
Yeah.
would that roll be?
Basically,
Coordination.
it's coordination plus composure for that kind of roll because it's like a ranged attack. Our marksmanship roll is like a ranged attack. If you have archery, for every 8 you roll on your D8s, it's 2 successes.
Okay, so any eight is 2 6x's, right?
Yep.
And then that would be 1d6 and then 3d8. Is that right?
Is your composure 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
wow.
so your coordination's 1, so it's a D6. Your composure's 3, so that's 3d8. And then you add your 2 distress die. So you would roll 1d6, 3d8, 2d4. For every 8, you count 2 successes. For every 1 on the d4, you take away a success. And then, yeah.
Alrighty then. So that's a 1. You have failed me, red dice. I am not rolling you today. I need D8s.
As Sue is kind of like yelling through the pain, and the scream goes from like a ah to like ah as the arm is being eaten by the acid.
Ooh. Okay, there's a 7,
Very
an
much.
8. There's a 7, an 8, a 6, and a 5.
Whoa! And what about the four before?
And 2 2s.
So what's
Okay,
that?
7, 8, 6, 5 is
3,
no,
5.
that's 5 successes.
Nice. And you said sorry, 2 what on the d4s?
2 2s.
Oh, okay, 5
Yeah.
successes.
Uh,
Hey,
but the damage on a bow is 2, I believe.
plus 2.
Uh, yeah, hold on, let me compound both. 3, I'm sorry, 3. That is 8 damage.
8
It also
damage.
has the precise quality. Um, oh, yeah, so you actually get that's 6 successes. So you get an extra success for your specialty, and because it's precise, any 8s you roll are 2 hits instead of 1 because it's a precise weapon. So your 8 counts as 3 successes.
Oh shit.
Nice.
So that
So
is
9.
6 total damage. I'm sorry, 9 total damage. Yeah.
9 total damage. And then this thing doesn't really get, so it doesn't have a reaction or anything. Doesn't
What
have
is it?
coordination.
Did she shoot the maw or the tongue?
She shot the maw.
Okay, so the maw has armor. It does not get to make a dodge roll because it can't.
Right.
Though it is all of the damage done is reduced by the armor value.
Okay, gotcha. So that's 6 points of damage against this thing as one of the arrows goes like disappearing into the mouth. You do see the tongue just like lashes around. But you didn't see where the arrow went, but you feel like there was a reaction to what you just did.
Well,
And oops, sorry, go ahead.
well, that's real exciting. I'm gonna knock another arrow in the meantime.
All right. Um shit. Bart. Wait. Yes.
Uh, did the weapons discharge, the loud scream, attract anything upstairs?
From your standpoint of where you're at, you can still hear the things trying to get in to the building, but
That's great.
nothing. You don't hear anything that you don't hear the shattering of glass yet.
Okay, I will edge a little bit further back downstairs so that I can get a line of sight from the stairs to whatever it is these guys are fighting downstairs, as well as keeping an eye on the door.
Okay. You let's see. The way that this is, it says that you when you turn in the hall. So you can just see the light coming from like a room down the hallway, but not your friends anymore.
Okay, fair enough. I will stay at the bottom of the stairs then.
Great. Um, let's see. So at the end, as you start to head down the stairs and you like step back on your on the last step, still facing up, that's when you hear the crashing of the glass, and then you begin to hear the scraping against the what would this door be made out of? Wood? Wooden door?
Uh, oh,
Linoleum.
this is probably a metal door, to be
Metal
honest.
door.
I mean, like it's just a
Okay, you can start to hear the like battering against this metal door up at the top of the
Okay,
basement here.
I will call out. If you'd like to hurry up, we're going to have company.
All right,
I'll
we've
get down
got
here and do some shooting then, bro.
Sue, as you're recovering from you
If
still
Sue been attack if Sue's been attacking the mall, then they're within 10 feet of the mall, and they need to make that roll that the mall has
yes.
because they have a melee weapon. So
All right, let's see. Oh wait, nope, she doesn't though. 'Cause she's got
well,
the amulet.
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh wait, no, this is for the hunger. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, this is a separate
No,
thing.
the spear gives me a D8 to resist
Yeah,
it,
the
right?
spear gives you an additional D8 on the roll to resist it. It's a
Okay,
dread
gotcha.
power.
Sweet.
So you please make a composure and resilience roll as the smell, like from the mouth, like we've all smelled some pretty rank breath before, like it is beyond anything that you have ever smelled.
Some of that dragon buoy breath.
What?
I had an ex. That's what I tell him in the morning. Get away from me with your dragon booty breath. Two.
All right, you're good. You like the
Sweet.
pain of the acid burning through your arm there. Um, it is enough to like kind of hold you in the moment. As the stench just like washes over you there. So what are you up to with yourself?
So yeah, I'm gonna take my severed, sizzling arm and my fun new spear and kind of scooch myself backwards, like, all right, wrong weapon for this combat. I'm gonna put myself into a defensible position.
Okay.
Not quite overguard.
All right. The tongue has how much range? Is it like a?
It can attack anyone who's in the room. The
Okay,
tongue
gotcha.
is exceptionally long. So,
Okay.
It could open the door if it wanted.
I mean,
It
yeah.
probably did in the first place.
Jordan, actually, nope, not you. You did not. It
Mm.
was Sally. Sally, as you just hit the shit out of the mouth, the tongue is just gonna like swing over in your direction and try to hit you for plus. Okay. Son of a- It's a fail. Hold on 1 second. So 1 success against you, so you can roll a coordination plus reaction to dodge.
Hey.
Just kind of flailing in your direction haphazardly as it's trying to figure out where you are. It was just paying attention to Sue.
It's and if you have hand-to-hand tactics,
That
hand-to-hand
would
or tactics, you would get hand-to-hand melee attacks. I can't remember what that one is. Or yeah, I don't think you have any. So all your dodge should be d6s here, and then the d4 would be
okay. So it would be 2d6 and then the distress die.
2d4.
Okay. That is a 1, a 2, and a 1 and a 2. Great.
A 1, a 2, a 1, and a 2.
Yeah.
So that's a -1, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
how many ones on d4s?
Okay,
like 1.
1 on the d4, a 2 on the d4, and 1 on the.
Negative, yeah, it's -1. It's a -1. So you basically add that to its attack.
Okay, so you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 points of damage, and this one kind of wraps around your leg, the tongue, and you are wounded as your leg gets burned severely by this acid that comes from the tongue. It just like kind of slides against, wrapping around and then whipping away. And you fall to the ground, but like kind of get back up with the one leg, really. Now you're hopping around,
So
hobbling.
that would be what attribute is going to be affected by that? because that will matter.
Attribute is coordination, right?
Coordination would be down to a 0 is the lowest you can go. So your coordination's a 1, so you're now at 0 coordination.
Ooh.
0 coordination. Okay.
So yeah, so you're just rolling 3d8 for your bow attacks.
Okay, just 3 days.
So Sue's would have been strength, right? We'll say strength for Sue for your
Yeah.
wound.
Probably.
All right. Jordan.
Jordan is like going to get a bit closer in order to try to like shoot down at the mouth the same way because it saw how it reacted to the other thing, and I'm going to be doing that. So let me roll my. Huh. What do you know? I'm spending 6 seconds and adding 3d8 because this is actually a decent roll.
Oh, nice.
Man, automatic is great. I got 6 successes.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Make that.
Tat.
So what's the total?
Make that 7.
7 successes. Nice.
Nice. Here, let's make it at 8. Why not?
Yes, I have unloaded into this thing's mouth.
All right. How many?
It's reduced by 3 either way because it has armor 3. So it took 5 damage from this.
Okay. All right. You hear another like scream that comes from the mouth of this thing somewhere deep inside, but it kind of resonates throughout the chamber that you're in. Yeah. And you have to take a composure and resilience? Or is that on its turn?
That is anytime someone gets within 10 feet of it, which I totally just did. So it's resilience plus composure, which is just 3 dice. One success.
Nice.
Nice.
Noise. All right. That brings us to Sally. You are like, yeah, you're kind of like weaving a little bit as your leg is in severe pain. But you did just see Jordan took your lead and started shooting into the mouth of this thing, and that scream that went around like makes you kind of instinctively duck down to try to block your ears a little bit.
I am gonna do the same thing again and try to shoot my bow right into its mouth.
Get an auto
Right.
success.
Oh, auto
Oh, I
success.
do? Okay, so that's an 1 auto success. The
3 and
8.
then 3d8
Okay.
and
So
2d4.
Okay. That's an 8
Her
and a 5.
coordination is 0 now, though, right?
Right, so it doesn't get any d6 on this.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so
Right.
that's here's my D4. It has rolled across the room. A 4, a 3 on the D4s. An 8, a 7, and a 5 on
Nice.
my.
So that's an
That
8.
is 5 total for 8 damage.
There you
Which is
go.
5 damage. Yeah.
5 damage because it's reduced by 3. So another arrow doing more damage than, or I guess the same.
It does 6 because I gave her an auto success. So
All right,
it's 6
6.
damage. Yeah.
Thank you.
Doing more damage than the automatic rifle there. And another scream that you can hear all the way up the hall, obviously, Bart. As Sally, are you trying to move?
I'm just gonna try to stay out of the way of the tongue. and try to like get out of range. Because I can shoot the bow at whatever distance that, like, it's probably pretty close, but out of range of the tongue because I don't want to be licked to death.
So you get the impression looking around like this tongue can reach really, really far. The mouth, not so much, but the tongue is like wherever you are in this room, if it wants to get you, it can.
Okay. Is there any place that has like 3/4 cover?
There is no cover mechanic in this game unless you make an actual roll to hide or do something like that. So
Oh, okay. Um, then I'm just gonna try and like stay as like
make yourself as uninteresting as possible.
yes, exactly.
Okay. So you can hear screaming and everything, Bart, from up the hall. Um, so looking at this metal door, you get the impression like you can hear the scraping and you can see that there's something like there's things banging against it. You start to see like little dents, but between what you're hearing down the hall and what it seems like it might take to get through this door, you feel like I mean, you definitely can man the door, but you may be able to lend a hand and have time.
Okay. So it's my go.
What was that?
What's it? Said okay.
You heading down, or are you staying?
Yeah. I said, is it back to my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. Yeah. If the door is holding, then I will head down to the lit doorway and peruse the situation.
Yes, you immediately see this tumorous mouth and long, nasty, slimy, acidic tongue that has just slammed into which one was it? Was it Sally?
Yes, it was me.
I shall take aim at said tongue.
All right.
So that is coordination plus.
Plus composure.
So for those 2, 3.
All right.
Oh, sorry, D4. Let's see, 2 and a 3. So yeah, 3.
Awesome. So 3 against the tongue. Suddenly from behind you all, you hear the shot ring out from the. I believe you have a handgun, right?
No, I switched to one of the automatic weapons from our
Oh,
dead
okay.
guys upstairs.
did you reroll your hits?
Reroll my hits. Okay, so
This is automatic. Yeah.
so we
Oh,
got
automatic.
3. So 2 of those and 1 of those. So that'd be 4 total.
Nice.
Plus 3, so 7.
Awesome. All right. So let me roll for the tongue here. 1. So that's only 1 success for the tongue. So that is 4.
6.
6.
Yes, because
Oh.
an assault rifle has damage of 3. So 4
All right.
successes plus 3 is 7.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so you spray this tongue as it's like kind of moving along. You follow it with the gun, and you see like little splatterings of acid going flying off in different directions. And then another like yells slash screams, screech from this mouth. And it is now Sue's turn.
Just holding safe and still and steady. I have I insert a little memory fragment here, not necessarily from my initial dread, but from my most recent dread. Keep it safe, protect it, keep it hidden, keep it safe.
Okay. You feel
Night
this
night
warmth.
won't be safe.
No, that's true. You feel pretty good too. You still have that like energetic, like having just eaten a really great meal. Like you just feel full,
Carbo
although
load.
you're like terrified, but yeah, you feel good. Um, okay, we have the tongue that is seeing this new individual who has just shot it up is going to make an attack towards you, Bart. And again, I cannot. All I can picture is a
A
dude in
yellow
his
Bart.
a dude in his underwear, just standing there with a machine and some boots, like. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay, so that's a strength. So. Mm, One. That is one success against you, Bart. So
So
coordination plus reaction.
I get a total of 76, and I rolled 3 on the first 4. So yeah, I got it away.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you do like a
Total
little
4.
in your underwear, like a somersault, like.
No, just a little step to the side.
And the tongue just goes past you and then back in. All right, that's kind of all that it can do now. So, it is now Jordan.
Jordan is going to. I have to roll my thing again to see if I'm not gonna get all retchy.
Yes.
2 successes.
Oh,
Uh,
beautiful.
Jordan is going to unload one more time into the mouth of this thing in the hopes that something happens. Whoa, boxcars! And a 4 on my d4. So roll those again. Boxcars, not boxcars, 5 and a 6, but whatever. I got 4 successes off those. I'm spending 6 seconds, y'all. That's just
Nice.
I'm
Yeah,
adding
get
3.
it.
I'm adding d8 to this. We're killing this thing right now. That is 1 success, 2 successes, 3, 4, so 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8 total successes on this roll. I rolled no ones. Oh my god, being drunk is great.
And you know what? Just for gits and shuggles, let's throw another auto
Another one.
success on
9.
there.
All right.
9. So
Plus
the damage on
12?
this one is, yeah, let me double check the damage on the assault rifle. I think it's a 3, but I've been wrong a lot today. As this
A
guy who
3.
made this game called Fires of Athlon, or he's like, once I write it down, it's your problem. Unfortunately, it's my problem right now.
No, it's a 3.
4. It's a
Right?
4.
Oh, it's a
Assault
4.
rifle, 4.
All right,
Okay,
yeah.
so I did an extra point of damage as well. Then.
Oh, sweet. So I'm looking at 10 successes plus 4. That's 14 minus 3 is 11.
Oh shit. All right, yeah.
Shredded.
Yep. So as the tongue goes like slashing out in the direction, trying to whip around to get to Sally next, you just see Jordan is like ah, and lets loose a barrage of bullets and straight into the mouth, and the tongue, and there's a screaming. The tongue whips up towards the ceiling of this basement, slams against the ceiling, and then it begins to, you see the mouth, it like sputters and the tongue drops. Um, and you see that the maw like goes still. Um, so what happens here actually? The talisman here, it says talisman, but
No, the
talisman.
talisman wasn't used. You skipped that part.
All right.
None of the dissolves happens. It just becomes a dead mouth in the ground.
Okay. So the mouth just like the tongue goes slamming like with heavy thud and like a splatter of acid on the ground, and it's just this like lips of like cancerous looking kind of lips that are around this tongue. And you start to smell this just odor that's emanating from this open mouth. Um and
bro, need some Tic Tacs, bro.
it begins to fill the
Good.
space as as the acidic, like you could hear sizzling and whatnot as this mouth is just emanating this disgusting odor in the room, really kind of making you want to get out as the room starts to just fill with almost like a green uh scent in the air.
Yeah, we gotta
Oh,
rush, but
yeah.
let's
Wait.
get upstairs. We gotta get back upstairs.
Yeah, we need
Book
to
it.
go. Let's go. Come on.
I'm gonna put Sally's arm over my shoulder to assist the injured leg. Um,
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it. I really do. She's gonna try and limp
I'll lead the way
upstairs
up.
with Jordan.
I'll lead the way upstairs.
So
Is the
Bart
banging at the voice up?
heads back up the hallway, leading the rest of you. Sue, do you kind of bring up the rear there?
Yeah.
Like kind of looking back at this mouth and wondering as you can feel that warmth on your chest. What the two had to do with one another. But as Bart, you come up to the stairwell, you stop for a second, kind of holding and having everybody wait, and you don't hear any more banging against the metal door as you start walking up. Listen for a second, it's quiet, and slowly opening up the door and looking out, um there is no more shade. And actually what you can hear as you open up the door, the windows that were smashed, you can hear the loud buzzing of insects, and you can hear the cicadas just like chirping, that ceaseless chirp outside. And you can smell
Scream!
you can smell like the fresh night air as you um open up the door and then look out and can see that the sun uh is starting to rise, and you're all very confused. But that is where as you start to walk over towards Jordan's Tesla, which was not harmed because it is silent, that is where we'll end the game.
The second annual Cryptoprism retreat.
Yes.
bro, next year we're going to the beach.
Bro, next year I want to go to Vegas. Pool
Like,
top,
that's fine. Everything's fine.
bars, or rooftop pools and bars.
Bro, I can't go to Vegas. I've got a boycott of Vegas until casinos start taking Bitcoin.
I think I'm just
Unless
gonna
they're
stay
fighting.
home.
Like I can't gamble in Vegas until they start taking
And
Bitcoin.
Bart and Sally both look at each other like maybe this wasn't the best choice. Like you thought a fintech startup might be cool, but these two are clearly messed up in the head.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think I get paid enough to do this.
Whoa.
And
Nice.
Right.
we fade to black.
Scene.
And see.
Cut, crank, end it off.
Yeah, it occurs like I realized like when I was reading the last bit that I forgot to change those 2 blocks in the last creatures, so they were probably a little bit confusing. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I had no idea what I was doing from the beginning, so it was fine.
It's all right. No, you did great. It's good.
Mhm.
So thank you all for joining us, and thank you for playing, everybody. We can go around and do exit statements, outros. That's what that is called. It's called an outro. Do outros.
Exit statement. Well, no, because you know what? We do
Exit
need our exit interviews with our 2 employees that are fired. Well, one employee that's fired and one that's resigning. But yeah, we did unanimously decide as
if
new
I'm
HR that Bart is
right,
fired.
you can fire me. But if I'm true to my character, one day there's a knock at Sue's door, and as she opens it, I pull a gun out and shoot her in the face because I'm a vanquisher.
Oh my
What do
gosh.
you have against me, Ian?
No,
You
Um,
are so antagonistic
I-
against me.
he's a vanquisher. He's a vanquisher. They kill dread entities. That's
I'm an
And
Oh.
entity,
you obviously made a deal.
but
'Cause
I'm
you
not
were
an
dead.
entity.
You
People
it
make
doesn't
deals
matter.
all the
You
time.
doesn't matter. You are a servant, as far as I'm
Huh?
concerned.
My job's done, so would I
Oh yeah.
still be a servant?
The way this works is like early on, unless you actually have like the occult or the background to understand, like nobody or
I
you
have a
yourself have
I,
died, right? And you know what the whole way to come back thing is. You
mhm.
wouldn't necessarily know that they did do that. However,
I have a cult with a specialty in paranormal investigation.
yeah, pretty much the vanquisher's gonna know what you did in this situation. Yeah. So so you don't even have to touch and ask when Sue's gonna die because you already know.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
Anyway, out
not
there.
if I hire a hitman first. Because I want to make sure
It's a
he
race
never
against time.
works again.
So thank you, everybody. Well, Bart, did you have any
Hey,
things?
I'm Ian. I play Bart. I'm also the developer of a game called Fires of Athling, which you will see on this channel reasonably soon. Maybe even Thursday. We don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm also the GM over at twitch.tv/Fires of Athling. Kat, who's just below me, is one of our players. She plays on our Sunday stream. We stream Sundays at 8 p.m. or actually 7:30 p.m. EST, and pretty much following directly after Nat 30s. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. GMT and 8 p.m. EST, so our regular slots. And on November the 20th, we are doing an epic 12-hour charity stream in aid of Stand Up to Cancer, where myself and our regular Wednesday group and a number of special guests, which include Izzy, will be swinging by for some chaos and mayhem. As well as Stand Up to Cancer, our primary players for the day have their own personal charities. And for every natural 20 they roll, Athening Publishing, aka me, will be donating $5 to their individual charities.
Nice.
So do swing by at some stage during the 20th, and you'll get to see lots of chaos, mayhem. Hopefully the players will survive. And that'll be it. It'll be a lot of fun and games. So hope to see you. So I'm done.
Thank you. Sue/Cat.
I am Cheesecat on IG. Well, no, Cheesecat on places. I don't know my handles. It's last day of vacation.
Oh,
I enjoy my moddings here on the Nat 30s. Don't forget hide and seek Sundays and Tuesdays. I made presents for winners. I'm still contemplating if there's going to be a surprise fifth winner based on a little personal fun memory of mine from childhood. So
oh,
I'll do a coin flip and announce it.
awesome. Thank you for being our wonderful mod. Sally, I know you have to go. Thank you so much for hanging out with us extra long.
Thank you so much, you guys, for the opportunity. I really appreciate being able to play on the stream with you guys for the first time,
It,
and I am thankful to Almost Critical for introducing me to the channel. And I want to say thank you to Izzy for hosting, and also to you wonderful players that I had the opportunity to meet.
it
Thank
was a
you.
Thank you
pleasure
very
Yay!
playing you.
much.
It was
It was
so
a real
fun
pleasure.
playing with you.
It was fun meeting you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Likewise, if you guys want to play again, just let me know.
All right.
Yeah, just check out the Discord. Yeah, I'll get to that in my outro then.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Gavin. I played Jordan, the tech bro. I am one of the developers of the Midnight World and co-owners of the company Gemini Productions. I have been working on this I've been working on this game in some way, shape, or form since its alpha build before it was even like funded. And I've been like kind of doing stuff with it ever since then. I am the primary director here on Midnight Mondays. Usually you'll see me running these things, and I really appreciate Izzy taking that one away from me, because I was a little bit yeah, I didn't have much else to run yet, but next week I'm hoping that I'll have my next thing ready. I don't have a name for it yet, but it's going to be sort of a little bit different than what we've done before. I'm going to do what looks like it's going to be like a straight up, not even necessarily in the Midnight World, a proper horror game using the system. And yeah, we'll get to that next week when people join. I am also thank everybody for all the donations. We got 106% of our goal, so I will be sending that off to the organizer looking for that tomorrow. And I don't
Thank
know.
you for
There's
the
probably more
raid,
stuff I could
Sensei
say.
Suplex.
Yay!
Sorry. Thank you for the raid. We just finished up.
And we're just finished up, but please check us out next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Nat 30s. For our next installment of Midnight Mondays. And if anyone is interested in joining us on stream playing the game, let us know and join the Discord. Let us know, and we can get you on the next one. The way this works is like it's first come for it's if you haven't played, you get first dibs. So any new player gets jumped to the front of the line on being able to be part of the stream, so they too can experience the Midnight World.
Yes. So anybody who just joined us, this was the Midnight World horror themed TTRPG. It's in pre-release. It should be coming out any month now, like probably. Right?
With luck, we are sending chapters to the editor as the chat, and as we are sending to the editor, we're also releasing chapters on our Discord, which I should honestly put into the thing here, which I will in just a moment. I'll put in the channel, and on top of that, as they get edited and are ready for their like final release version, we'll replace the current ones with that. So everybody, because it's taken so long to get this out, we want to make sure that people can get a chance to get the game early. We finished our we got funded like right before COVID, and then the world changed and everything went kind of wild. So it's taken a lot longer to get out than we initially had said it was going to. And with we're still on track to hopefully have at least a PDF release by the end of the year, and we should be on Drive-Thru RPG as soon as we are released.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow we will be playing D&D here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Kat, our mod, is going to be running some hide and seek in the chat. You can win some handmade beautiful art. We have at least 4 winners that will be chosen at the end of the month on the 26th. So you can come and play, and it's free to play, free to win. You can also enter to win our monthly giveaway. And we are going to raid Carney's Sideshow because
Ooh,
they are up, and I don't get to often raid people that are in our team. So they might be going somewhere else. Like usually this is about the time they end too. So we'll probably join them as they raid somebody else, but that's cool. So we'll just pay it forward, basically. So we will see you tomorrow
rolling with
night.
the homies.
Everybody,
Have a good night. Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Night.
And we will see you
Bye.
tomorrow.